Hi guys, welcome back to AnaDialogue, the dialogue on analog music reproduction. Today we are going to take a look to a very special product, the OE Play, a Bluetooth speaker that does have some skills worth knowing. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Okay guys, I want to be completely transparent here. I have been contacted by OE Play. They proposed this interesting product. I receive a sample. The sample is obviously going to remain here, but I did ask to be completely free, objective with my subscribers. That is always my request, and I like to say this to you because I want to say the good and the bad. In fact, that's what I'm going to do at the end of this video. Before continuing, I do want to say that this product is about to be or already been launched on Indiegogo. So you're going to find a link here below in the video description if you want to go and check a little more details, and obviously if you're interested in purchasing the speaker. Now we're going to dive into the review. We're going to take a look a little bit at the specs, the price, obviously the different features, how it works, a little test, indoors, outdoors, pros, cons, and my final take. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Okay guys, so let's take a look what's inside the OE Play box. So you're going to receive 3 legs like this with their nice little pouch. As you can see, they're nice and black, all in metal. Here I have the other 2. I love this matte finish, very nice, very high quality. As you can see, I hope you can see, you have the screw that goes directly in the body and a different type of material here where the actual leg points itself on the ground. Okay, besides this, you're also going to find a nice little plastic bag with inside a power cord. In my case, I live in Europe, there was an adapter. Otherwise, you're probably going to find the American type. That was nice to have an adapter immediately. It's a 2-pole type of connection, as you can see. Then inside you also get a remote control, which is mainly adapted for the USB stick, which comes together. In fact, here we have it. You get this nice little USB key or stick, however you call it, where you can put your music and then you just stick it afterwards. We're going to see behind in the rear of the OE Play. And this is mainly used to navigate through the files. You also get a battery, which is supposed to go here. Here you go. All included, very nice, very functional. I like it. Plus, you're also getting a little antenna. This is very important because I tried the OE Play without the antenna and it doesn't work properly. You need this little antenna which screws on at the back. Now we're going to take a look for optimal reception with the Bluetooth. Okay, let's take a look now at the main body. Here we are. And as we can see already, there are very high quality components. So let's start to take a look at the main features. Here we can see the logo with the name OE Play. We also have a power button, which powers the unit. You need to press it more or less 2 seconds, which starts to blink when you're trying to pair it with your smartphone or any other device via Bluetooth. And as you can see here, we have a very high quality tweeter. AMT, the Air Motion Transformer designed by Heil, which is found in very high quality speakers. That's already shocking. I must admit, as soon as I saw this, I decided to accept this review. And plus a very generous woofer, which gives a powerful bass, as we will see afterwards. Here below, we can see we have the 3 sockets to insert the legs we saw before. Plus, here behind, here we go. There's a little ridge, so you can put it down. I think you can see it. Try to push this a little more here. Okay, so here you have the ID number, the power inlet, 2 poles, as I said. As you can see, the voltage is good for both types, 110 and 240 volts. So no problem with that. You also have a USB port, as we said before, plus the little antenna you have to screw on, plus the hole for the bass reflex. That's it. Okay, so now you have seen the different elements, the quality, the materials employed in this product. And here are gonna show up a few specs, the main specs. I'm not gonna go through them, just take a look here. And in the meantime, we're gonna discuss prices, okay? Before diving in the features and things like that in the test. So, now on Indiegogo, it's gonna go for the first 50 units for $449, okay? Once those 50 units are gone, it's gonna go to $499 for all the Indiegogo campaign. When that is concluded, the street price, we could say, it's gonna be much more, $899, okay? So if you're interested, I would take the shot immediately with Indiegogo. Okay, so at this point, we can take a look at the main features. Let's dive in. Okay guys, so now let's take a look at a few features, especially when you're using the remote control. As I said before, this is directly connected to the USB stick, which is already inserted in the rear of our OE Play. If you want, you just have to put the USB stick in a computer, and inside the different folders, you can put your own music, okay? And it'll just start. Each folder is associated to one of these buttons, okay? The fun part is gonna try to understand which one is which. But apart from that, there is already some music in my folders. I don't know if that's gonna be a standard, maybe. So let's try. We're gonna turn on the unit from here, keeping the button pressed. There you go. Now it turned on. It's gonna start immediately. From the last selection you put, let's put something a little more beefier, like for example this one. And you have also volume here. Very cool. And if you want to change with the Bluetooth, you just have to press the button and you go back with your other device. If you want something different from another folder, just click a button. Obviously, I'll give you my take afterwards on the Sonics. So now it's blinking. So it's searching for a associated or a device capable of dealing with Bluetooth. I have an automatic message asking me to associate. It's called Music Star. Very simple. It connects within seconds. There we go. Then we can just select your own music on the phone. Or for example, I love Qobuz, as you all know. Let's see something of my favorite stuff. For example, how about Bluesy Burl? And the volume of the phone makes the volume go up of the OE Play. Okay, apart from the distant test and also the outside test that we're going to see afterwards, I wanted to have a close-up, close capture of the capabilities of the OE Play so you can understand the sonics. So we're going to listen to Temptation from Diana Krall. As you can see, this is a 96 kilohertz sampling rate, high res quality audio. Are you ready? Let's test.
Russet brandy in a diamond glass. Everything is made from dreams. Time is made from honey, slow and sweet. Only the fools know what it means. Temptation, temptation, I can't resist.
Okay, guys, so now I think you're starting to have an idea, more or less, of the product. During these weeks, while I was testing the OE Play, I also brought it along with me. I went a few days on vacation. I went in we could call it a party setting without the people and noise, obviously, to see how it worked in an open environment. How was the sound? And how it reacted, we could say, in a daily use, in a daily environment outside. So let's take a look.
You hardly even notice when I try to show you. Song is meant to keep you doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the week.
Okay, so this was just a little extra to understand more about the sound coming in the outside. As I said, afterwards, I'm going to say a little more on my opinion, on my take on the overall, we could say, idea that I reached after all these days. Let's go over now the main pros and cons that, at least in my opinion, I've found related to the OE Play. Now, I have a nice little list I'm going to go through. Well, first of all, obviously, it has a great vintage look, a 70s look, which I adore. Especially, I would say, the orange. Even mine is red. The orange one, since also the tweeter kind of goes to that tonality of color, that hue, I think the orange one, and in general, the design clearly is just profusing itself 70s vintage looks, and I like that a lot. So apart from that, obviously, what can I say about we're in the pros, so the positive aspects, the tweeter. I mean, the tweeter is fantastic. I have the same tweeter also in my Golden Ear Triton references. I mean, that is a excellent piece of technology. I know a lot of people don't like it, but trust me, I mean, this does make a difference. So that's already another excellent point to the AMT tweeter by Heel. Plus, as you have seen, as you have heard, actually, it also has a great bass, which I think is always a very difficult point to achieve with these small speakers, portable speakers, Bluetooth speakers. The bass is nice and present. It's deep. The woofer delivers that good mid-range, but also lower register, nice and clear, nice and deep with an impact. It doesn't distort, first of all, which is something very good. I have my Kilburn by Marshall Kilburn, which is something very similar, which I adore, but it does not reach absolutely that depth of bass. Plus, it starts to distort at a certain point. Instead, the OE Play, I cranked up the volume a lot, and it reached all the way up the pinnacle, the top of the volume, and it never faded, it never crackled, it never did anything. So wow on that. Congratulations to the engineers. Another important point is the Bluetooth. This is a 5.0. Excellent. So you can go very distant with your phones, whatever device you're using. So that's excellent. There's a good range. It's also clearly a faster transmission. You can send also huge amounts of data, so even high res. I tested it also with 192 kilohertz, so that's a lot of information traveling. No problem at all. So that's also a great pro. A praise is also for its mono configuration, because clearly we're not talking about a stereo loudspeaker, because they do these stereo speakers, but the two speakers are really close to each other, so it doesn't make that much sense. I mean, or you have two distinct products, two distinct speakers, otherwise you're always going to have a mono effect, more or less. Actually, it's going to be worse when they're so close. So it's better to have one very good one. And I must say that the OE Play does a very good job considering it's a mono. I mean, the soundstage, it's pretty decent. And that's also something was pretty much in contrast, for example, with my Marshall Kilburn, which is a little more restrained. So that's good. I also asked if you can do a stereo combination. They told me, yes, you can do it. There's a way to connect them. Obviously, I have only one, so I couldn't test that, but they said yes, so that's another important aspect if you want to buy two. Related to the construction, I was quite impressed from the materials, from the quality of the materials, with that nice matte metal finish on the legs, which is dark. As you're going to see on the Indiegogo, they're made out of wood, so maybe it depends from the color which it goes. In any case, mine were black, and I love that. And obviously the speaker itself, it's made of aluminum, very nice, with this nice glossy finish, piano lacquer, they call it. Very nice. And as you have seen, as you're going to see hopefully on the page, there are also other colors which are very cool. Okay, now, so let's pass now to the cons. What I didn't like during these days together with the OE Play. Well, first of all, the legs, the screws actually of the legs, weren't that precise. One was a little bent. Well, that can happen. Plus, we must remember that mine was a sample, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a higher quality control on the ones shipping out. In any case, so mine had a little problem, so even the part where it's screwed in, it was a little, after putting them back, taking them out, putting them back, taking them out several times, there was a little loss of connection. Well, not a connection, but the parts started to move, which I didn't like that much. But once again, I don't know if this was a sample just prepared quickly for evaluation, and the final product, maybe it's going to be a little more sturdy in that part. The rest was fantastic, but that little part over there with the connection was a little not perfect, we could say. Another thing I did not like, or at least I was missing greatly, was a line input. Yes, without a line input, you cannot connect, for example, an external DAC or something like that. You can, but you have to use always Bluetooth, which is more than enough. I mean, if you're just using it casually, one speaker in a corner, it's perfect. That's what you want. That's the main purpose, clearly. But I wanted, I mean, for me, it would have been cool to have also an input, a clear, nice, classic analog input to deliver also, to have more types of connections. That's all. Another negative aspect, if we can call it that way, was the lack of connection of the USB port with an external PC. At least I used it, I tried it with my Mac, and it did not work. So I can't speak for Windows or Linux or things like that. But at least with my Mac, it did not work, which it's reasonable. I mean, it's not meant to have that configuration. It's just to use with a portable and maybe their own type of USB key. Another aspect I would like to highlight in this section is maybe further colors, further finishes would be nice, since I do think this is an interesting product. Probably if you have more nuances, more hues, and also, once again, more finishes, not only shiny, that will also be a good plus. But I mean, we're at the beginning of the production, so that's normal. One other aspect that maybe I was missing is that the OE Play must always be connected with a plug. It does not have a battery inside. Instead, for example, the Marshall Kilburn charges and you can bring it out and about. Now the Kilburn is like this and it has a handle, so it makes much more sense, clearly. This has a tripod and you put it there, so I guess it's not that fundamental. Nevertheless, sometimes you don't have a plug, so in that case you cannot use it. Unless you use a very long cable, you can still do that. Finally, my last consideration is that the remote control wasn't of the same quality of the OE Play. A little flimsy, and also I had to move a little bit my arm in order to reach, to make it connect. Once you find the right spot, it goes very quickly, very nice, but otherwise it takes a little bit of time to find the right position, especially if you change the height. Okay, so we've reached the end of all these aspects, so I want to deliver an overall consideration. So I was very pleased and impressed by the OE Play already on the paper. Otherwise, I very rarely accept these types of reviews. You know, who follows me knows this. But I was pretty interested. I was intrigued by its concept, because that kind of tweeter is not available usually on a normal Bluetooth speaker that you use out and about in a casual way. So that's very hi-fi, high-end. Plus, the bass, which is always a critical point, really impressed me. I wasn't expecting that. Very deep, nice and punchy. So the overall impression is absolutely positive. I mean, it's a great little thing. If you put it outside, it stands the environment. It doesn't suffocate. It doesn't disappear. It's there, and you really hear it, and it fills up the air. So I like that a lot. Plus, the looks are just fantastic. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments if by any chance you have tried the OE Play or other similar products. And what else can I say? Music is born analog. Ciao! Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.